Welcome to WholeCEO with Lisa G. I'm the best-selling author of The Boss Weight Loss. I'm bringing you the top tips to be unstoppable. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to actually pull up a chair with today's top experts in mindset, weight loss, business, and more. Learn our top tips so that you can have more energy, be fit and resilient, feel unstoppable, unshakable, and unbreakable. He's a New York-based actor who's involved in filming multiple TV film projects, shooting in New York and Los Angeles. His quality work spans a decade. He's made a big splash since he first began his training in famed acting with guru Susan Batson many years ago. And his most recent work in Law & Order with scenes with Ice-T and Molly Burnett for the Bubble Wrap episode where he portrays a gangster. He just filmed an episode with director Michael Patrick King for the heralded Sex and the City. I freaking love that stuff. Reboot, and just like that on HBO Max. The tall, blue-eyed actor's episode of ABC's Blacklist came out and aired on ABC Netflix this past year. Other recent TV works include Fox Gotham, an episode on FX Networks, Happy, starring Christopher Maloney. Louis Balletta currently has a national TV commercial running on 3 channels for the company Easy Choice. I hope I said that right. A labor union alternative in which he's the ambassador for. So let's jump into it. Welcome to the podcast, Louis Balletta.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Nice to meet you, Lisa.
So nice to meet you. And I was just talking off the camera about how fun it is to meet people that you would have never met doing podcasting. So let's jump into the content for our audience. I want to talk about purpose and what it is to you and what you stand for, all of that stuff.
So we have 5 hours, I'm assuming?
Absolutely not, but go
okay.
Right.
So purpose. I view purpose as something to stand on and also a motor. So purpose is something that doesn't necessarily have to be for you. It could exist outside of you, as in purpose, as in serving others, right? One must have a purpose if they want to be a leader. Okay, so you have to question what that is for you, right?
Right.
Your purpose could range from anything from being the best person in your field or making your dog the happiest dog in the world. And I would say I felt that I've had purpose my whole life, but it changed when I got my dog, believe it or not, my dog who had passed 3 months ago.
Yeah, you told me about Foxy. That's so sad. I'm so sorry to hear that.
Thank you. It's extremely tough, but the purpose, when you come outside of yourself and you're serving others,
yes,
I feel there's almost like there's less of a burden on yourself to almost, I don't know if the word is succeed, but if you come out of yourself and serve your kid, your mother, your dog, in my case, I feel it serves as like a guiding light mechanism to where your path is lit up. And as long as you have your other goals written down and you're obsessing about those goals and you're meditating on those goals and you know what those goals are. It's funny how the purpose in your life, whatever that purpose is, the ones that I just went down from A to Z, all those types, whatever your purpose is, that's going to kind of guide you by being your motor, by being your foundation through whatever field or path or business you're looking to be a leader in. It's weird. It almost gives your heart this charge. That's the way I look at it. Your heart automatically beats and your breath goes because you are attached. You are really powered by something outside of you, right? It's like it's in you and it's outside of you at the same time. And I wish I had a word for it, but science just doesn't have a word for it. But I guess you know what I mean, Lisa.
Well, to me, Louis, I really like the part that you mentioned about service, because I really feel like whatever kind of business you're in, whatever field you're in, if you make it about serving others, then you can't lose.
That's that's the way that's the way I view it. It takes the pressure off of you,
Yes.
right? Um, and every time you serve someone else, it's a teaching experience. It's good karma,
Yeah.
and man, it's grounding. That's the best way I could say what purpose and serving others is it's this grounding that one you just can't explain. It makes you stronger. It makes you solid. It makes you stand in front of someone, look at them dead in the eyes, and say what you have to say, right? When you're on purpose. Now, when the juxtaposition to that is when you don't have purpose, you're kind of wishy-washy, and
Right.
people don't buy your stuff. People don't buy
Exactly.
you. People
Yeah.
don't buy you because you don't have a foundation. They
Yeah.
don't, you're not solid. And people feel that. They see it in your aura.
Yeah.
And it's something that you can't fake.
Yeah, I love that about coaching is about serving others. I really get a charge out of doing it. And it's always good that I know of all the millions of things that I do, that that's really where I'm heading. And the thing that I enjoy the most is just helping people serve them, whatever gap they want to close. And I really enjoy doing that. So it's so good for me to be on purpose. And I love your commitment. Like, let's jump into another topic. What actually does the commitment mean to you? Because you've gone really far in your career, and that means you're committed.
Yeah, the commitment part is making decisions, and sticking with those decisions in a resolute way. So if you think like, for to bring this, I know this is like a stupid fitness example, but you can bring this into business. It's like getting up in the morning. If you committed to waking up and throwing yourself in a cold plunge and then running for an hour and working out for an hour first thing in the morning, and you commit to that and you do it, you actually accomplish it. That's a point up, and your engine somehow runs better when you accomplish that. Now, the task can be much smaller than that. The
Yeah.
task can be like, oh, I'm going to wake up. I'm going to write something in my journal for something I want to accomplish today.
Yeah.
Even that small of a task, if you complete that task, that level of commitment, as small as that step was, you can build on that step day after day. Even if it's like, I remember listening to, I think it was like Jordan Peterson talking about just clean your room, right? You could even committing to cleaning your room. Some people are so lost that they need the framework of just like doing something that all of us do every day normally, but they don't. So maybe just cleaning your room, cleaning your car, taking a small step, something that you can commit to and accomplish. And sooner or later that you start to build the foundation on these things.
Yeah.
And that commitment soon grows into, okay, I'm going to commit to my 5 employees of making the work environment the best I possibly can for them.
I'd love, there's so much to unpack in all the like wisdom bombs you're dropping here, but I love the fact of commitment. Not all of you guys can run for an hour. You don't have to. The cold plunge, I'd love it. It's a great idea, but you don't have to do that. But I like the fact that it is self-leadership. And once you commit yourself, other people will follow you. Otherwise, I've heard it said, if you are a leader and you turn around and no one's following you, then you're just going for a walk. So I think when you have commitment, the self-leadership is leading by example. So whatever it is, I'm really committed to a morning routine. I don't want to get up that early, but I'll get up early. I'll do yoga. I'll work out. I'll drink some coffee, meditate. And that is non-negotiable for me. So you have your non-negotiable commitment, and that's how you get to stack on top of other things. I like the way you said you can stack on top of that.
I think that's great. And something to add in there is like say your commitment was getting up in the morning, doing yoga before work to get your mind right. And a lot of people will say, well, the procrastination, oh, I procrastinate and I can't do it and blah blah blah. But what they don't realize is that successful people also procrastinate. We do the same thing. So it's like you might be in the morning procrastinating a half an hour, but
Yeah.
if you are committed, it might turn into an hour, and then at that hour part that you've been laying in bed, you're like, okay, now I'm going to do it. That's commitment, and you've completed your task. So I just want to throw that in there, because a lot of people think that we're like anyone that is committed or is in leadership position is just a robot. They're not. They're a human being. And even procrastination is okay as long as you get the task done. It's a normal thing to feel resistance.
Yeah, I love how you can help people feel okay with taking them off the hook, because we all do procrastinate. But if like Mel Robbins says, when the alarm goes off, she has this 5 4 3 2 1 rule where you just jump out of the bed and you don't hit the snooze button. You just get
Just
more done.
go.
You just get more done. You jump out of the bed. Even if you
It
want to snooze like for 15 minutes, then you know you got up 15 minutes earlier.
that's that's training that mechanism. Like you said, you're desensitized. You're really training that mechanism. If you're just going 3 2 1 go, I mean, that's a much more streamlined way to get to that goal. And it's a quicker way than I suggested. I was kind of suggesting the lazy man's way, because I've been there. But your suggestion, if I had to give the advice, I would probably give your suggestion.
Yeah, I like the way that you have flexibility in an agile approach where it's okay on the days when you just are procrastinating, as long as you make up for it and you get the task done. Like you know
Yes.
that you have your definite action steps happening. And even if you
Yes.
have to stay late. So I want to talk to something else that I think is so important about leadership, because you're such a strong example of that with all crushing it on so many of my favorite TV shows. Sex in the City was one of my favorites for
Yeah.
sure. And just like that. So, what about listening? I know that's a really important leadership skill.
Wow. So I can bring commitment and listening into those topics. Believe it or not, the TV shows that I worked on. I mean, you don't just get on those. First of all, you don't just get on those TV shows. It's years and years of plugging away at it,
Yeah.
practice, schooling, experience, and then you're trusted enough to step on a set with Sarah Jessica Parker, nose to nose with her, and you have to be trusted, because every minute is thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars every minute, literally. So you
Right.
have to be trusted, and bringing the whole commitment thing to that, and listening, in acting particularly, those are two of the most important things to do. So let's say I have a page or 2 or 3 pages of lines. You need to make what are called choices. As an
Right.
actor, you make your choice without seeing the whole script, and your choices, those choices you better commit to, because people will see your, I don't want to say the word, but BS. They'll see the BS. They'll see the lying on screen if you haven't commit to the choice you're making. So say convey I want to convey sadness in these 3 lines that I'm saying. I want to convey sadness, right? I better commit to that. And that means I have to choose something in my past that conveys sadness so good that the viewer can see it through a lens, a video camera, right? And
Yeah.
if you don't commit to that specific visual that you have for yourself that no one else knows about, it shows. So not only do you have to commit to that, you have to just commit to showing it and opening up, and being open in that scene. Or if you want to transfer this into business, you got to commit to being open, and also part of that, it just flows perfectly into listening. And I think every leader should listen, because in order I find a lot of people that are they are the pretenders. The one thing that they do is emote. So
Yeah.
whether they're in business or acting, or whatever art you're in or whatever. Those people, they just want to talk and emote and not listen. Now, in real life, if you don't listen, you don't get, first of all, the tone of the person that is speaking to you. That's like
Yeah.
tremendous to build rapport with them.
Right.
Real life or acting, you need to listen to that because you got to match the tone, right? And then you have to also listen to what they're saying. I mean, you can't be thinking in your head of things that you want to be saying to this person and truly be in the moment and not listen, because when that happens, there's a disconnect. One, the rapport is broken. Two, you miss opportunities. And three, it just doesn't bring it back into acting. That doesn't look good on screen. Part
No.
of part of acting, actually, the biggest part of acting, it's very funny, is not actually acting, it's listening.
Wow.
So when you're speaking, I have to genuinely be tuned in to what you're saying and your body and everything about you. I have to be tuned in because I have to, in the moment, coordinate myself to you to carry your energy through the words or through our energy, whatever we're trying to accomplish. I
Right.
need to listen, right? As the actor.
Absolutely.
And I think in business, it's even
Yeah.
more important when you get someone one-on-one in a room, in an office, like
Yeah.
a sales room. You better listen more than you speak,
Right.
because how could you ever offer a solution to a person that has a problem and you're selling them the solution, but you haven't really heard the crux of their problem? You better be listening more than you speak. So
Yeah.
that, I feel, is a big, big leadership quality. It goes the same with if you have employees. You better be listening to your employees because they're a direct reflection of your management.
Absolutely. I mean, I've heard it said that you have two ears and one mouth and use them accordingly. And I
Yeah,
can see where your commitment is why you keep getting work, because you said it's not an easy task to get on Law and Order or Sex and the City or any of these shows that you've worked on with Sarah Jessica or Ice-T. But if you're in charge of the commitment to memorizing your lines and you're not listening to their cue for when it's your
right.
the whole thing isn't going to look real, and that shows.
Yeah, that's probably what you just said was probably the root of all bad acting you've ever seen on camera. And some directors won't even pick up on it. They'll just see it as like something's wrong, but they won't even know. You have to really, you really have to look next time, because the best actors in the world are the ones that listen the best.
Yeah.
They will fool you into believing they are truly listening to that other person. They are, and they're reacting, and they will react saying their line, and it has to be real. So that's the art in it. That's the performance art, and that takes years and years and years to develop.
And the
It's just like,
commitment.
why do you
Yeah.
think every Victoria's Secret model is not an actress? You ever think about that? Every pretty girl in the world, they want to be an actress. Well, you have to do the work.
Yeah.
It's an art.
You can't just look pretty on the camera. It's like, if you're just listening for your cue, but not really listening to the other person, you're picking up. I mean, it's said that so much of our communication is actually physical. So you're missing the body language
That's
and
right.
not just the words. And you're actually listening for the emotion. I love the way you get into the emotion and the feeling state of real listening. Do you have anything else you want to leave our audience with as far as leadership or being unstoppable or commitment or listening? Because
Um,
I love everything that you've said so far.
I think, okay. I feel like, as like a leadership sales sort of a thing, uh, I would use this with employees, and I would also use it for sales. There's one thing that really changed my life back when I was in
Right.
the fitness world, and I was selling. And it's like, you, in order to really level with someone, I just wanted to touch on what you said about the physical mimicking, or not mimicking is a bad word, but mirroring them physically. You have to listen to tone,
Right.
When you want to establish rapport with anyone in a sale or your employee, you have to match their tone. You have to listen intently. And I always found, even just changing your physicality around them, not standing over them ever, try to get eye to eye, try to kind of mimic their tightness or looseness in their body. And I found that worked tremendously to establish rapport or for sales. That whole thing, it's a whole neuro-linguistic programming thing. They call it NLP.
Yeah,
But
I've heard
you
that.
could practice that and it becomes natural over time.
I
I would
love
say
that.
that was a huge thing for me in terms of leadership and sales, right? That
Yeah.
whole just listening and being in the moment with them. And then one more thing that's just like, it's related just to life. And I found that, it was the hardest time in my life is when my dog had passed, right?
Right.
But you find the most like for me, the most purpose I ever had was the last 3 months of her life when she was very sick. And I literally needed to be with her 24/7 and sort of work at the same time, which is, you would think would drive a person crazy. But I found, this is how I knew that purpose was everything.
Yeah.
Those were the best 3 months of my life.
Wow.
Were her being sick and me working and not sleeping. Best 3 months of my life, because every morning I woke up, I knew I had a clear and defined purpose. And that also translated into how hard and how smart I worked. And everything was bleeding into each other. And that energy, it showed me that there's like this endless well of energy in all of us. And in order to tap into that, it's the big P word. You need purpose.
Well, thank you so much for bringing it all back full circle with the purpose and the commitment and listening. And I think also too, it brings you to empathy, like when you're really like aware of people's nonverbal cues and their body language, you can
very important
really help them and be empathetic to their situation. And if you're a leader, that'll help you with the quiet quitting and employee retention and just building a more cohesive team. So thank you so much, Eric. Balletta. I really freaking love like this podcast, Louis.
Thank
Balletta.
You made some amazing points, and I would follow all the points you said. You seem to streamline it very well. So thank you, and I learned something through you.
Well, thanks, Louis. And where can people find you? I know you're all over the SAG-AFTRA thing, but do you have social media?
So so there's a website, www.louisballetta.com. That's my full name. And then you can find me on Instagram and Facebook, same name, Louis Edward Balletta. That's my full name, Louis Edward Balletta. It's the same thing everywhere. And I look forward to posting some snippets of this, because I would like my people to hear some of the stuff that you and I talked about. So I appreciate you having me here.
Thank you. Let's do this. Thanks for coming to WholeCEO with Lisa G. After over 20 years helping people lose weight and get fit, I'm so excited to announce that I found the missing link with my coaching. Message me if you want to learn how to look better, feel better, and go faster with a master. Lisa G at lisagfit.com.